So now we begin with the second part now, and we will continue a little bit with the conversation and little fun, more interesting stories from Bruce, and a few more songs. And then we also have, just to give you a perspective of what we planned in the second half, we have some fun surprise for you in, towards the end. So we'll start with the next question for you, Bruce, and this is mainly for the ability and the value of listening. You know, like I feel like listening is a very important value that we all, I mean, we listen all the time, but that's external listening. Do we really listen internally? Do we really, like if I'm having a conversation, I feel like a lot of times we are listening to the other person to be able to respond. We don't really listen. So, if as a musician, you work a lot actively with this value of listening, and just want to know from you how you have worked with it and how is it impacting your life, like even the relationships. Because if you develop a value in one way, you end up seeing the changes of it and benefits of it in the other. So, I thought we'll hear a little bit from a musician's perspective on listening.
That's a really interesting question, because I think when teaching music, one of the first things we do is to train the listener's ear, right? Can you listen to a note and sing that same note and so on? Because that's the most fundamental skill to being a musician. But then the value of listening starts becoming a little more nuanced when you're playing not just alone but with other people. And I don't know who it was who told me this, but it was one of the bands I played in. Perhaps it was maybe someone from the hotel band that I was playing in. So playing in a hotel band. We used to play at the Windsor Manor at this place that used to be called the Wellington Room. And so you're playing in a hotel band, you're basically like active wallpaper. Nobody is paying attention to you. And you basically are in a corner playing as quietly as you can, and you do this 4 or 5 hours every night. So you've got to find a way to have fun during that, or you'll go mad, right? Because you're doing this every night for 6 nights a week, so you need to have fun. And so the band would very often, pick up popular songs, top 40 hits kind of things. But since nobody was paying much attention, the songs would go from being 3-minute pop songs to sometimes 17-minute extensions of those pop songs. And nobody cared because nobody was listening, right? So there was all this jamming going on, right? Because we just take the same chord progression and somebody would improvise a little bit. And sometimes even the lyrics would get vastly improvised. And then once in a while some diner will be eating and you're like, that's not how it goes. And that's when somebody was listening. But I remember, during that time, it was an unusual experience for me because I hadn't done that much improvised work on stage. And somebody in the band was saying something about, when you're playing together like that, sometimes it's your job to make somebody else sound good, right? Which was a huge, I was like, wow, okay. So, when you're playing, you're in the spotlight, you're playing, you gotta sound good, or you tweak your amp and you get your sound and you're like checking your mic 100 times to make sure you're sounding good. But there's a whole value in when you're playing in an ensemble where you do whatever you can to make the others sound good, right? Which means that you craft your sound, your playing, your arrangement, the chord you're playing, the strings you're playing, the sound you have, all of that to make sure that this person who's now taking the spotlight for whatever time that he sounds good, right? He or she or whoever it is, right? And that's a very, very important lesson, because when you do that right, the band sounds fantastic, right? Which is why even today, you have a really good drummer, a really good bass player. You can have a pretty crappy lead guitarist and you need a decent singer, but the band will sound good because those guys, the drummers and the bass players of the world, most of them, know what it is to make somebody else sound good. Because they're, at the back of the band, sometimes you can't see the drummer. If he's a short guy, he's behind a huge drum kit, you can't even see him, right? But he's making the band work. He's keeping the groove down. And the bass player is playing those low notes that nobody can hear really. It's just this low frequency thing. and but they make everybody else sound good, and that's a great lesson. Which is why I think at some point, if you play an instrument, you have to learn to play backing. You have to learn to play second fiddle, right? Which is supposed to be the hardest instrument to play. So that was a really valuable lesson. And like you said, when you get to that, when you start understanding what it is to support someone else when they're doing something, that value of listening becomes a transferable skill. And then when you have a relationship, when you get married, and when you spend time with a significant amount of time with someone else, that value of listening becomes even more important, even more nuanced, and even more required. And like you said, if you're listening and all you're doing while listening is thinking about what to say next, it's not gonna go well. So yeah, you have to learn. Yeah, and thank you to all the people who taught me that.
No, it's a beautiful lesson. I think so relevant in today's time where there is, everybody's focused on getting ahead of each other. There's always this rat race. So it's really a valuable lesson that you bring, that to get the other person in the spotlight, make them enhance more than yourself, and it's really a lovely value. And I really hope that we can all go back with that one thing at least, because I think it's
just play in a band, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. So that's really nice, and I think from there it also leads. The next question actually for me leads from there. When you have silence, because when listening also somewhere silence plays a role in it, right? You have to be silent, and silence also leads to observation. And as some of the lyrics that you write, the songs that you write, I see that there is a lot of deep observation about things around you, about people, about society, about Bangalore, about so many things, about the situation in the world today and over the years that we've seen. Just want to know how you work with this, and is there an interesting story? Because like some of the lyrics, like selling sushi in an idli shop. I mean, very, very curious, very interesting, and just want to hear a little bit about that.
I think this whole writing our own music thing started in college because we wanted to win college competitions, and we discovered that on the judges' sheets there was a whole column for originality.
Extra points.
Originality. And none of the other bands were doing their own music. So we said, maybe if you write one song, we'll get some points for that originality column, and we'll win competitions. And sure enough, we did. We wrote a few early songs, and pretty crappy ones, but that's how it is. You need to write really bad songs before you can figure out how to write good ones. But through that process, and again through this thing about trying to come to grips with our particular Indian identity, this English-speaking, Western music-loving, but also coming from backgrounds and families that are deeply connected with local traditions and foods and mores and whatever else. It's a peculiar place to be in, but sometimes being in these peculiar non-belonging places is very interesting, because you kind of put you at a distance from it, which allows you to observe it more keenly, I suppose. And so when we started writing music early on, it felt important to reflect that identity more than anything else. And then it became kind of matter of course. So if when I think about it now, all the albums that we have, working on our 9th one right now, and they're pretty much a document of our lives at that time, right? The album that you spoke about, India.com, the album was called thermalandacoda.com, because that was what was happening back then. It was .com. Everybody was working in a .com. I walked out of college into a .com job. It was called thermalandacoda.com because we had our new website. It was a .com, and we're still around. So, and the second album was Jupiter Cafe, when Bangalore was the outsourcing capital of the universe. And so a lot of the songs then speak about this sudden life that Bangalore's changing so much and all of that. So yeah, it's like a document of what is happening. You mentioned selling sushi. I mean, that's a song called The Scene, and that was written in, I think, 2015-16, when we'd been part of the scene for 20 years, and we'd seen a lot. we'd seen what went on and how it was to to work with event managers and festival organizers and see the checks bounce and all of that kind of stuff. So it was fun. So we had to write about it. So should we do those songs now?
Yes.
Should we do? I've got two songs here. One is talking about lyrics and talking about observation and personal experience. There are two songs that I thought would fit. One is, of course, The Scene that Ami mentioned so kindly. And there's another one that I wrote recently. It's a song about a dream I had. Yeah, and it's a weird song. Yeah, okay, we'll pick up the guitar. Yeah, so I'm a fairly boring guy. I don't smoke, don't drink, stay at home for the most part, no wild parties. It's just like fairly, don't wear flashy clothes and all. It's just like standard, very, but yeah, it's really not much going on apart from playing in some bands and all that. But I woke up one morning after a particularly weird dream, feeling like the scum of the earth. I felt like I'd done truly horrendous things, horrible things. And it was like I woke up believing that I had lived that life. It was really, I woke up really quite depressed. And there was a lot of negative, energy that had built up for whatever reason. And so I had to write a song about it. And so this one's called Double Life. Let's bring some darkness into the evening. That one time I fell asleep at the wheel. Lady Luck smiled, we all walked away. But I woke up today like a drunk driver, with blood on my hands at 10 and 2. Ever strayed from you, my girl. My double life has only been with you. But I woke up today like a part-time lover, with thread of sorrows unraveling. Was it the edge of the bed or the world? Some chemical fog in the air, perhaps. Was it a bridge to a past life, another fate unlocked in dreaming across that night? A tired mind pulling at straws and finding needles instead. I'm very rarely high. The smoke and the juice are barely friends. But I woke up today with a champion hangover and a memory of mistakes I made. I'm no star of the screen, no red carpet rogue, just a slight bright light in a humble firmament. But I woke up today with a B-roll to die for, scandals and sex and lies and videotape. Was it the edge of the bed or the world? Some chemical fog in the air, perhaps. Was it a bridge to a past life, another fate unlocked in dreaming across that night? A tired
wheel. Lady Luck smiled, we all walked away. But I woke up today like a drunk driver, with blood on my hands at 10 and 2.
Some nervous applause there. Yeah, double life. Strange one, but had to be written. Had to get it out. Yeah, so this next one is a bittersweet one because it's called The Scene, and it's about life in music in this country and all the things that we've had to deal with. So it's funny, we've sung this at various venues and college festivals and so on, and it's interesting how many much younger musicians come up to us and say, "It's still the same, man." You know? So it's interesting, but not nice that it's still the same. I think things are better, but yeah, who knows? The Scene. Big ticket rock stars, they come and they go, with folk fusion gimmicks, comedy, electronics. Our story's been the same since 1996. Selling sushi in an idli shop for you, with rock and blues and jazz and rolls on that menu. Selling sushi is the scene. Hope you know what I mean. Selling sushi is the scene. That's how we wrap up this dream. This dream. I see you're a producer of passion. I see you're the chairman of cool. But if you're the director of my music, I'd rather have the president's rule. I'd like to be just like Lennon. You know, sometimes I play the fool. You can turn an event into history. Your sponsors on auto renew. The drones, they're dripping Kingfisher. Sorry about this. As you fuck with the bands at your venue. Selling sushi is the scene. Hope you know what I mean. Selling sushi is the scene. That's how we wrap up this dream. This dream. It's getting cold here in the spotlight as you rattle your cutlery. And don't let me play a hole in your conversation. All I know is that this joke's on me.
Don't need you to understand anymore. And you can have all my tunes for free. Now you're thinking this song is so bittersweet. You wear that smile so well. Shake my hand when I'm done. Tell me it's been a treat. I promise not to kiss and tell. Selling sushi is the scene. Hope you know what I mean. Selling sushi is the scene. That's how we wrap up this dream. This dream. Selling sushi. Would you like some chutney with that?
The scene.
Yeah. Should we get Mr. Rudy on to play a song? When he said he was coming, I couldn't resist. Like, play a song! So, yeah. Ah, yeah, there's a mic stand in the room. Yeah. Yeah, this is yours.
So I'm not going to talk. Bruce is the talker for today. But I like the setting of all these books and the song we're about to do. I think it might be in one of these books here. If you have Robert Frost, who's the librarian? Do we know? He isn't here today, so we won't know. But we'll find this. This song is a Robert Frost poem. Neither of us wrote it. But we kind of put it to tune and we like singing it, so we just do that. Nothing gold can stay. I was reading in the little leaflet. This is the first time I'm hearing about this society, if I can call it that. The sun and its power to be doing what it's been doing all these years to humanity. And this song particularly about the sun, it's not mentioned there, but it's all about the sun, I think. Nothing gold can stay. It's about the morning and the first light of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tune, no?
Should we check, please? I need to check.
Let's be. No, where's it? goes down today. Nothing gold can stay. Nothing gold can stay. Nothing gold can stay.
Thank you. So, David. Brings me money. He needs no introduction.
Yes, we should.
Twist. Thank you.
Thanks, Rudy.
Thank you for having
Showing
me.
up.
Yeah. Thank you all for being with us. Yeah.
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you. It was beautiful. So, I think with this, I have like just one question for you more before we do the last part,
Yes.
which is like the surprise. The question I have is kind of encompassing your life, and you've
We
done
could be here a
this
long time.
for so many years, many decades. You've been with music, right? And different kind of things that you've done. So you started with covers, and then the original music, and then all the way here, to even today you're working with MV Pallavi and doing the vachanas and the fusion, bringing the ancient poetry in a way which is relevant to today. So there are a whole lot of things you've done. So one part of the question is to really ask you that how has music shaped you also as a person across this entire journey? And the other part of the question is also coming to today, how is technology, this question I have to ask right today, how is technology, I would not even say how it's affecting, but I really want to hear your perspective in respect to technology, because right now there's so much of value given to something fast, quick, now, neck break speed, and music takes
So,
time.
write me a song about.
Exactly, right? And and there's a lot of value as an artist. There's a lot of value in the practice, in the spending that time in getting to where you want to go. So I think I just want you to give us an overview about all of this. How it's changed you and what is happening with this whole technology backdrop today.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with the dabbling in various things and how music has basically changed my my ideas, perspectives, context, life, and so on. Yeah, I find the more I put myself in creative situations that are not part of my comfort zone, the more excited I am, the more challenged I feel, obviously. And I think after so many years of doing it, I know situations that bring out different things from my own creative energy, and that's something that I like a lot. And again, I'm very fortunate to be able to be in a position to work with people like Pallavi and some of the other members to try and reimagine some of this ancient poetry and stuff like that. And also, yeah, the last few years have been particularly a dark time, I think, for all of us. From COVID onwards, it's just been one mad thing after another. And I keep hearing from Bindu, my wife, that I'm going to have an aneurysm pretty soon if I don't learn to calm down. And and so I guess that's why this thing about working with this particular poetry, because it speaks so much truth to power. It speaks so much with so much relevance and so much heart, and it's coming from non-elites. It's coming from working class individuals writing this, right? So there's a resonance to it that hasn't lost any of its power after 800 years, right? That's saying something. That's what drew me to it more than anything else. And I think there's no one better than Pallavi to sing it, because she really brings the emotional center of that stuff out. So that's been great. The new album that we're working on with the band is loud and angry because that's where the thoughts are, that's where the heart is right now. And like they say about music, I think the music is always joyful, even if it's talking about miserable things, because that's the way out of that, right? Like the blues is joyful music, but it's about miserable things.
Like you said in the beginning, right? Sometimes things have to be said, and music helps us say that. But there's always hope that we can work with.
Yeah, and the path to exorcising this negativity, this energy, is sometimes a creative one, right? It's you express that in a way that another person can also feel that with you, but in doing that feeling together, there is a release. There is a kind of okay, we can get through this.
Connection.
Right? There's a connection. Yeah, I mean, I go back to the Def Leppard concert recently because we played a bunch of new songs, and one of the songs is called Lies, and it's about how we live, not just in a post-truth, but in a post-reality world almost. It's like we don't even have a shared reality anymore. Again, having the good fortune to have these opportunities to work with different people and to exercise creative energy in different directions is great. And so yeah, if you're in a creative field, put yourself in situations where you're not always comfortable. It's not always this I know how to do, right? If it's kicking your butt, you're probably learning something from it. So yeah. About tech, well, I use tech all the time. I still don't use AI so much in my work with songs and writing and everything else because I think I'm still better than it, but not for long. Not for long. I mean, it's getting to a point where just today we were having a conversation with a close friend, and she was playing me a song, and she was like, I could not tell. And even for seasoned musician years now, it's getting harder and harder to tell real songs apart from AI generated ones. But to me, that's not really the point, and it's something you mentioned about speed. So would I give up the last 30 years of sweating over guitars and lugging all this gear around and plugging things in and 4-hour sound checks for a 30-minute show? I mean, this is standard, right? This is how it works. If you want to play music, if you want to be part of a creative thing, that's what it takes. Would I give up all that for a fast track to just having 1,000 songs on Spotify by tomorrow? I don't know. I've enjoyed that too much, and I'm in a privileged position to say it because I've actually been through that. I've actually been through this time, and I know the value it has had, not just in shaping my personality and my perspective, but also my relationships and my the value I place on my own life, so to speak. Right? It's I keep saying, and this is something you read about all the time. The joy and the value is not so much in the outcome, but it's in the struggle. It's in and you pick up a guitar for the first time, and it's not easy. Your hands don't do what they're supposed to do, and it takes weeks before you're producing anything that sounds pleasant or musical. And if you pick up a violin, God help you, it takes even longer, right? Because you just make awful noises for months sometimes before you generate something that sounds, that's musical. So a piano is, if it's tuned, it's much easier. You just go up and play, and it's musical. But then you say, I can do this, and then you're like, okay, this hand has to do something else. This hand, okay, it's too hard. So it's hard. It's difficult, and it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes perseverance, it takes a certain bloody-minded determination to just show up and just do it and do it and do it. And then one day it's like, wow, this is happening. I can play a song, and I can write these words, and I can string them together, and I can make a melody, and I suddenly know what a minor 7 flat 5 is, and there's all this, and that's really the biggest joy. It gives you such a sense of, I can do this, and you feel better about yourself, and you probably made some other people feel good along with you on the way because you played a song that they also knew, and they're like, you can figure that out, wow! It's amazing, and the best thing about going to these big concerts as well is the tribal thing about music that it hits me so hard every time I go and watch an event like this together, and because everybody around you knows these songs. They're there because they want to experience this, and
It doesn't matter where they are, what color they are. It doesn't matter who, what, nothing. At that point, you're just brothers. You know? You're sitting there and you're singing the same song. There's nothing like it. You know, it's brilliant. And I don't know if such a tribal mingling will happen to 10,000 people listening to an AI concert. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing. I don't know. It might, but I don't know. I don't think it'll be the same thing, because the investment of sweat and blood and toil and all that has just not gone into it. It's a server farm somewhere drinking up all the water and power from several towns and villages, fueling the rise of a trillionaire, which is going to happen pretty soon, is what I've heard. So yeah, it's a funny time to be alive, but it's a good time to say what you think when you're in this funny time. Sorry, it's getting too dark again.
No, it's so beautiful, because I think the joy, like you said, is in being together in the process. And I think to be able to make memories, to be able to fail and have lessons, all that only happens if you've had a process. Otherwise, it's just a result and then that's it. So thank you for sharing your, I'll give you something which is like something very on the side, like in a similar process. Like I have gone to now stay in a mango farm, and all these years, I just buy pickles. And then first day I'm like, okay, now I will make pickles. And that whole process and the joy of doing that was something completely different.
Absolutely.
Maybe the pickle tasted good or no, I don't care, but the whole process,
I want a job now.
So that actually brings me to the end of my line of questions for you. But I think we have something really fun planned for the last part, and for that, Bruce, you're going to lead it. So
Yeah, let's see what happens. But we thought we could write a song together. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, like right now, we're just going to put some lines together, and we're going to write a song, and we're all going to sing it. Does that sound interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah? A little more enthusiasm, please. That is better. That is better. And so since we are in a school of philosophy, I think we should start with some famous lines that philosophers have used. And you had a couple that you shared with me. Shall we write them down on the board, and then we'll see what we can do with them. So I'm going to stop the mic now.
You can hear me, right?
yes.
Mic stand.
Good enough. Okay, so we're going to write, so it's pretty simple. We're going to write a couple of lines down, and we're going to come up with some lines that work with those lines. Let's call that a verse. And then we'll come up with just 4 lines. That's the verse. And then we'll come up with 4 more lines for a chorus. Right? So we're going to verse in a chorus, and then we try and string some melody around it, and play some chords, and maybe I'm going to have to invite volunteers. So please don't hide behind a whiteboard or your significant other or whatever. Just feel free to contribute. And so we'll write the lines first, and then we'll try and come up with some melody very quickly. You'll see how simple this process also can be. It's really not this mystical, difficult thing to do. It's quite easy to get into it once you do. Okay. So all right, there we go. So I know that I know nothing. It's a good one to start with. And the second line is, what you seek is seeking you. Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, so let's. Yeah. We also have some percussion instruments lying around. So for those of you who feel like shaking or banging things, you've got to come.